Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and I am your host, CWall, checking in as I do each and every single week to give you the latest and greatest information on the Washington Commanders. What is word? Do we have to bring this back? And this always says when is there a dull moment in DC sports, because that is true. That is always going to be true. Absolutely. And when it comes to the Washington Commanders, there's absolutely never, ever a dull moment at all. So listen, before we get into all of the things Washington Commanders, we're going to start from the top with something positive. Love button, fire emoji. I see Kim Perry has jumped on something positive. Oh, it's the holiday season, you all. It is the holiday season, and the Commanders were just getting back in town. And the Commanders, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, wide receiver Terry McLaurin, did his holiday event today. So just getting in town, we know that the team was coming back in bad weather, and Terry McLaurin still made it his business to make this holiday event. Check out some of the highlights here.
Can you all give a very happy and loud and warm welcome to Terry McLaurin from the Commanders.
What's up? I didn't see you guys. What's up? How y'all doing?
All right, Field, we're going to go ahead and get started with our rotation. Terry, feel free to enjoy all the science.
What's up? We could be partners, Dennis. Have you done this before? No? All right, let's see. I like these ideas. These are some good ideas, you guys.
Wow, what's happening?
That was perfect. Hope you guys have a great rest of your school year. Hope you guys have fun with one another. And I'll see you guys soon. Go Commanders.
You know what? I had to share that first because I thought it was important. It was important. It was a very important point. And so we always have to definitely make sure we shout out the team when they're giving back to the community. Again, Terry McLaurin is the team's Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. So want to give him his flowers continuously for all that he does, not just for his team and his teammates, but what he does for the Washington metropolitan area community as well. Much appreciation to you, Terry McLaurin. All right, you all. Let's get into it. Y'all know I had to share all the positive stuff first. So we're going to go through and do what it is that we normally do. And that is start out with, you already know what it is. I started not to play this game anymore, but I said, no, this is still the regular season and we still need to play it. And that is, what's your one word? What is your one word to describe how you were feeling when the Commanders officially lost to the Los Angeles Rams? What is your one word? What's your one word? What's your one word? What's your one word? Let's see. I'm going to wait here until you all drop some one words because we still have to see some one words. Kim already dropped hers. She already has her one word. Dysfunctional. Dundee says consistency. Kim Perry says deja vu. James Roundtree says tanking. That's an interesting word to use because I know when people are tanking and then there's people that are just losing. Embarrassed. And Mama Wallace has in parentheses again. You know, I always see people use tanking. And I'm like, tanking, there's a difference between tanking and losing. Tanking is intentional. Losing is not. Because we're looking at a Washington Commanders team and leadership team that are making adjustments. They might be small, but adjustments nonetheless to the team, which would kind of, we're going to get into something that I like to call now. I posted on my page, we're going to do a clue. And it's called, we're going to call it use your clues. Use your clues. And I want to call it using your clues because we've seen some of this before. Right? And I always caution people from using the word tanking because it's the incorrect word to use when your team is just bad and you're just losing and you're doing things where you may think is the right, you actually believe what you're doing is the right thing to do. That's just losing. Now, tanking is when you are intentionally doing things to encourage draft position or not doing things in order to encourage draft position. For example, a good example of tanking would be, and we're going to get to this, if Sam Howell was taken out of the game because they thought they were going to win if he stayed in. That would be tanking. Like, wait, they're about to win. Take them out. That would be tanking. Tanking, example, would be keep Cameron Cheeseman. Keep him. Keep him around. Too bad. So sad. Trust got decked in the process. But this is going to help. Keep him in. Keep him on the roster. No need to get rid of the long snapper. At this point in the season, quite frankly, no need. No need. But if you were tanking, perhaps would be a good idea. Absolutely no reason to keep Emmanuel Forbes out. Absolutely zero reason to release Danny Johnson. We're watching leadership make decisions. While they may not be all that beneficial at this time, using our clues, if we weren't seeing things that conveyed that they're actually still trying to win a football game, or at least appear to be making changes or be competitive, then, well, first of all, we all know they're not tanking. They're just losing. The team is bad. And you really can't tank when you're just a bad team. That would, but I always want to ensure that people are educated on these topics, because this isn't necessarily about an opinion. Tanking is a strategy. And I've shared this on my show previously. Tanking is absolutely a strategy. It is a strategy that teams use to, like I said a moment ago, to encourage their draft position. That's absolutely what it is. So I always want to caution fans on saying, don't say you tanking, because that would convey that they're being smart about this. You making it seem like Ron Rivera is like, hey, I got a bright idea, and this is what I'm going to do. And that's not what's happening here. We've actually seen this current leadership do this exact same thing they're doing right now every year they've been there. quite frankly. And I like this right here. And this is happening because the people that they want are currently unavailable. So I'm going to continue to educate because I don't want y'all out here misspeaking and appearing to be uneducated on the topic, because this is important stuff. And you can't have who you want when they're still coaching. Just saying. So in the last 4 years, and I'm going to play Coach Rivera's after game press conference, we've seen love button or fire emoji, if you recall, in almost every year of Coach Rivera's tenure, there has been a conversation about the quarterback and whether or not he made a change at quarterback. Too late. Using our clues. Almost every year, I'm going to say it again, there's been a conversation about whether or not Coach Rivera made a decision about making a change at quarterback. Too late. We saw it. May his soul continue to rest in peace. We saw it with Haskins and Heineke. We saw it with Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke again. And we just saw it. Actually, in the last 2 weeks, we saw it. So using our clues does it every year. And it's always around the same time of year. Always. And last year, actually, there was a lot more on the line. Remember, the Commanders were still, well, no, by this week, they were out of it. Remember, they flexed the Giants game to Sunday Night Football, and then the following week, there was a change. Or was it the week after that? And then shortly thereafter, we know that Coach Rivera didn't remember that the Commanders were out of playoff contention. But when I say, and we talk things regarding tanking and all those things, you can't tank when you're using the same philosophy that you've done in the last 3 to 4 years that you've been here. We've seen Coach struggle with this topic. We've seen them. I just counted off three instances. It's the same exact thing. Now, here's what I can say. And this is what I want to encourage everyone to take a look at. Here's another truth for certain about what transpired during the LA Rams game. Charles Leno went out. Tyler Larson went out. So Nick Gates come in at center. And I'm going to still get to Coach Rivera's press conference. Coach Rivera made a comment about protecting Sam. Put in Jacoby. Now, he put in Jacoby last week, too, or the week prior in the Dolphins game, before the bye. It was only like 4 minutes left in the game. Yesterday, 9 or so minutes left in the game. Push Jacoby in. Nick Gates has to come in. Okay. You did it against the Dolphins. Tyler Larson was still in. Okay, the game was out of reach. Understood. Jacoby comes in behind Nick Gates, which I would say to anybody is dangerous. It is. So if you say I was protecting Sam, I understand that, because everyone knows that Sam still has challenges with holding the football too long. And that is something that you do not want to do behind Nick Gates. It is what it is. Okay. Now, let me be clear. It doesn't mean that Jacoby was going to not get clocked, because Jacoby absolutely got clocked. He for sure did on that one touchdown pass to Terry. Here's where it went a little bit like, you're trying to win this football game. We went in, and here's the also thing. We went in, we're looking at now exactly what everybody else is watching on the screen. Sam did not look troubled. He didn't look disturbed. At least but he also, he was on the sideline. He was talking to Tyler Larson. And let's be for real, love button fire emoji. Sam wasn't having a good game. It wasn't the play calls. He wasn't having a good game. Terry McLaurin was beating most of the DBs. There were some challenges all around. Jacoby comes in. We know he can operate at another level because of his veteran status, even though he's behind Nick Gates, and he's able to execute immediately. Okay. And I'm like, we all know the syndrome, which is fair. The opposing team's defense thinks that you're waving the white flag. They think you're giving up. Hey, everybody been talking about slinging Sam Howell all season. He's gone out of the game with a little less than 10 minutes left. Here comes Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby's not scaring anybody. So, of course, you're going to see a more relaxed defense. But let's be for real about something. Let me know if you saw it as well. Jacoby came in and executed repeatedly. It wasn't too bad. It was quickly and made sudden moves, which appeared that they were trying to still show. Because here's the reality as well. People are trying to keep their jobs. And even if they're well aware that they may be out of this door, they want to be able to walk into another door. Nobody's going to cancel Christmas on their own career, standing on the hinges of Sam Howell's development. And that's real. Nobody's doing that. Why? For what? What would anybody gain from that? Quite frankly. And if there's a strong possibility that you won't be here next year, then why would you do it? To help who out? Exactly. You're trying to save yourself is what is happening here. And we're going to continue to use our clues. Now, we've used the quarterback clues because you've seen it. I just shared it with you all. Remember, every year we get to this part of the year, and it's on Coach Rivera to make the decision on who stays under center. But you're not going to make me believe that there wasn't an attempt to try to win that football game yesterday. I mean, maybe it wasn't. Could have been an accident. It sure did look like somebody who could come in and execute those plays to decrease the score. Or at least to showcase. It's not the play call. You saw something. And drop in the chat what it is that you all felt like you saw. What is it that you saw from the offense? Now, there's definitely some questions that have come through to me. And I'm going to get to those in a moment. But I'm going to turn it over to the presser, which is about 4 or so minutes long, because I want you all to listen to it. This is the after-game press conference. After the game, right? You all know I like after-game press conferences because that's the raw emotion. That's what you're going to get, okay? So take a listen, drop in the chat what you're thinking, and think about it from the perspective of, because here's the reality. I know this might sound like, who would want to hire anybody from the command? Plenty of people do. Plenty of people hire staff from the commander. Just because the team is bad does not mean the coaches are. Just saying, right? There's talent sprinkled around in there somewhere. For sure there is. But if you're on the outside looking in, if you're in the ownership group, because here's the other truth, they're not just going to clean house. They're not just going to everybody out and new people all come in. It's going to be, changes made, but it's within reason. Within reason. Drop in the chat what you really think about what Coach Rivera is saying here. Because this is why I said, everybody use your clues. Because we go through this quarterback thing with Coach Rivera every year. Every single year. Check this out.
Is he still your starting quarterback?
Yes.
Why is that?
He's our starting
Defense today, obviously the Rams have a good attack. What do you think of the group today?
Well, they did a nice job. I mean, they did some different things. We got a pretty dynamic guy up in front. And, unfortunately, we struggled in the second quarter. And, you got an opportunity. If you're down the red zone, you got to put the ball in the end zone.
And I know, like on the Cooper Cup play, it seemed like it was reminiscent of some things that happened in previous weeks. I mean, give us a feel for what went wrong on that play.
Just a lapse right there. Unfortunately, we had an opportunity, and we missed a coverage.
The last touchdown with Jacoby in there, the clock manager was kind of interesting, trying to go fast, and then it wasn't fast on the play clock. What was the thought process then?
The thought process was try to get the plays off as quick as we could. We still had 3 timeouts left, and we got ourselves into the situation we were looking to get into.
Any thought of going for 2 there?
Yes and no, but the biggest thing is, we just got to make the kick. I mean, that's hindsight at that point. But the attitude is, you score a touchdown, you kick the extra point, you keep your momentum. If you don't score when you go for it, that's a little bit of a momentum break.
The decision on Sam, was that you or Eric?
That was me again. Like I said, just wanted to take care of it.
Cheeseman, there was a snap that kind of went up.
That's not good enough. We're going to evaluate that.
Coach, we talk about protecting Sam. Was that kind of a game flow protection, or because you also lost some line during the game?
I think it's more of just a game flow. It's one of those things you get to this point, and when teams are just putting their ears back, and we got a lot of faith in who Jacoby is for us.
And then Antonio Gibson's usage kind of declined as the game progressed. Any thoughts on that?
No, not necessarily. I think a lot of it just really who they call up in terms of opportunities.
Was he injured or was he available?
He was available.
When Jacoby came in, you guys did the ball pretty well. What did he give you specifically to help us find?
Well, a little bit of veteran stuff. You saw some of the decisions he made were very quick, and you got rid of the ball quick.
And then with the cover stuff, again, as you said, it's been a season-long thing. Is that just the communication, and why hasn't that improved maybe throughout the year?
Well, the hard part more than anything else is that, was an individual that didn't, for whatever reason, just didn't do what he needed to do.
Going back to Cheeseman, they said you'll evaluate him, but are you anticipating a change there?
Well, we're going to evaluate it before we make a decision.
Ron, with the 3 timeouts there, why do the onside kick when you could have pinned them and got the punt?
So we get a second we get 2 chances at the ball. If you don't go onside, you just kick it deep and just pin them. You only would have only had 1 chance to get the ball. You go for the onside, you have 2 chances to get the ball. So if we onside, we have recovered it, then we've got the ball. If we kick it and we never get a chance to stop them, then we never get a chance at the ball.
Take 2 more.
With Sam, again, he struggled too. What was going wrong for him?
Well, I think there are a couple things, and again, part as you look at it, we just got to make sure we're able to protect. And then we'll go from there. Some of the decisions that we have to make in terms of, he has to make as a quarterback.
The offense has had a tougher go for the last 4 weeks. What can you guys do to improve that unit with Sam?
Well, we're just going to go and evaluate it. We'll watch the tape first and foremost and just see. One thing that I thought we did pretty well at times is we ran the ball. When you can run the ball and you run it efficiently, it helps. It gives you an opportunity to do some different things.
Okay, and last one. I'm good. Thank you.
Tyler Larson and Charles Leno both without with injuries. What's your expectation?
Charles, you know what, we'll have an assessment, and I think a little bit with Tyler was, you know, he got a little sore, so we had to be smart about that, you know, we're out on turf, and, you know, 4 quarters of that have been rough on him.
We're going back to something that I'm going to start calling use your clues. Use your clues. All right? Use your clues. And I'm leaning back in my chair because it's like, let's all be for real. Okay? Can we be for real? Love button fire emoji if you want to be for real. Because who else saw the attempt to try to win the football game? I know I was there, and I couldn't have been the only person that saw it because I clearly saw it. I said, oh, I see what's happening here. Because at this point, it's week 15. And Jacoby Brissett brings his, like Coach Rivera said, his veteran presence. He's clearly been in the same playbook. They were making an attempt. Back to using your clues. We can probably pinpoint, going back to the quarterback scenarios. I listed out 3, including the one that I just mentioned. Coach Rivera typically didn't make a change until it was too late in the game. Or he made a change until it was too late in the season. Point is, this is what he does. So, my thing is, while you may not pay attention to what he says, you're still not using your clues, James Roundtree, because of his one clue I always say is don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. And that's word to Rich Tandler. May he rest in peace. Because it don't matter what he said. We know that he made a decision to go with Jacoby. And we know that Jacoby came in there and made a last minute attempt to try to win the football game. And you see things like that happen when someone's trying to save themselves. Even if they know he's not going to be here, like I said a moment ago, they still want it to look like I'm still a viable option to work in this league. You don't have to hire me. Hopefully somebody else will. Hopefully you'll know, see, the problem wasn't me. That's what I'm trying to help educate, because I see fans say things and it's like, come on, y'all. Do you really think these people are just going to ride out into the sunset on the hinges of somebody's development, or on the hinges of seeing what we got next year, or seeing what we can get in the draft when people get fired after games every week? No. And while I would like to sit here and think, hey, you probably got a whole lot of money. You don't need any more money. Guess what? They gonna still do what they can to show improve. I deserve a job. See, at this point, it ain't even about the Commanders. It's about who they are as individuals, as professionals. We're seeing a group, because here's the other truth. If you leave Sandman and he's having challenges, then what does that say for the work of your offensive coordinator?